Hi everybody, it's Jenn from February 24th, 2021. Just watched an interesting conversation between Graydon Pelly and Ryan Cleary, and I wanted to turn the camera on and say I was intrigued and entertained by that conversation. Of course, Graydon runs the NL Alliance Party. Ryan's a former NDPer, former journalist, fishing advocate, activist, I don't know what you want to call him now. And then there's me, Jenn from I'm on the ballot in Mount Pearl North for the NDP in this provincial election. One thing you guys talked about was the fact that there's not a lot of talk about the fishing industry in this election. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about it and even pretend to know a lot about the industry. I know the NDP has a platform out, and I didn't see anything in there about the fisheries either. So this is more a Jennifer McCreath video than an NDP video, but I'm interested to learn and to hear from all parties engaged, involved. I remember the issue where Ryan started a new union, or tried to start a new union, and I've read all I can about the challenges, FFAW versus Fish NL, why there was a need for two unions and why it didn't happen. You see the word union and the word NDP, you usually say, oh, that's, you usually hear them together. I honestly don't know the history or the role the NDP has played or does play, if any, with FFAW. I know Ryan switched from the NDP to the Conservatives in 2015, but I think that was all before the Fish NL stuff. I'm running in Mount Pearl North, so it's not a fishing-based riding. I don't know what the NDP party stance is on the fishing industry. All I can say is whether I'm elected or not, I'd like to learn a little bit more about this and talk a little bit more about it. My connection to this goes back to my dad, who was a federal MP out of Nova Scotia in 1988, who was in the riding at the time known as South Shore, which was a very fishing-friendly riding. And my dad, as a young MP, met regularly with a veteran politician by the name of John Crosby. And John helped my dad a lot understand the fishing industry, and they were very close, talking together about issues. They were sat in the same caucus together for 4 years. My dad eventually got into the cabinet in '93. I'm not sure if John was still in the cabinet or not, but I can relate to being the little kid that stood on the wharf when they were 5 years old catching a fish. I've never been involved in the commercial fishing, or even the, what do they call it now, the recreational fishing. Back in the 80s, you could just go out in a sailboat and cast a fishing rod and catch, I'm talking in Nova Scotia where I grew up, a pollock or a mackerel, sometimes a cod, but yeah, there's just there's a personal history there, there's some interest in this topic. I don't know what I can do to help, if anything. Just perhaps having somebody who's on the NDP brand and has their name on an NDP election sign. I have no idea what's going to happen with this election. Will the election hold? Will it be disqualified? Will we have another election? And if we do have another election, will I even be involved? Or will I be burnt out? I don't know. But I just wanted to react and say, thanks for that conversation. I enjoyed watching it, and I'm interested in learning, and I don't think this should be a political issue. I think it's something that all political parties need to be talking about. And Ryan, you mentioned at the end about leadership. Who are these leaders? I'd like to meet them and find out. How come there aren't leaders? That's a good question to perhaps put out there. We know there's a union, FFAW, that you allegedly have had issues with and don't get along. I don't know any of those people. Maybe I'll give them a call too and have a chat. But yeah, I just like to keep this discussion going because I think it's a good one to have. Reach out to me if you'd like to talk to me further. I'm willing to sit down and have a chat with just about anyone, whether it's on Zoom or if it's outside of a level 5 pandemic, if we can actually meet somewhere and sit 6 feet apart, I'm open to that too. But I'll stop rambling, and anybody else got any thoughts on this, send them along. I'd like to hear them. Thanks for watching, everyone.